Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cowboys of the Osage. I'm old Cody over here, and as always, I have my co-host with me, Mr. Jimbo Snively, rodeo historian. Hey, Jimbo, what do we got going on today?
Hey, Cody boy, it's just another great day in the Osage, and we've got another great roper with us tonight. We've got Tyler Mayse, and he was in 04. He was the IPRA Rookie of the Year in calf roping and made the finals in calf roping. And then in 05, he decided to take up steer roping, and he was PRCA Rookie of the Year in 06 and made the finals in 06. So we just want to welcome him to the show tonight. And Tyler Mayse, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Tyler, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good, I think.
Long time no see.
Yeah, it has been.
Hadn't seen you in a while.
I know.
You're looking good, man. Looking good.
Been several years.
I know.
We were both roping back then.
I know, back in our roping days.
Right?
Hey, Tyler, where'd you grow up at?
Ponca City. Grew up in Ponca City. That's where I kind of got started at, but Ponca City is right in there. We lived on the Shikaski River there for several years, and when I was about 7 or so, we moved to Osage County, right there outside of Ponca City.
What'd you grow up doing?
Running the river, living on the river, fishing and hunting, that kind of thing. And until I found a rope, started roping, that was kind of my thing.
Were you riding horses down on the river, or did you have four-wheelers? What'd you have?
Oh, yeah, four-wheelers and just walking and running. Yeah, me and my cousin Shane, that's all we did. Just lived right down there and hunted and fished. And, yeah, probably about 7 years old when I got my first little pony, and it was off to the races then.
What was your first pony's name?
It was Butterscotch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a little POA pony named Butterscotch. Yep, solid white.
Who was the biggest influence on you back then to get you interested in rodeo?
Well, probably first got started was a good friend of my mom's named Teresa Fisher. She kind of got me going doing that, and her daughter Jenna, they got us into it, and that's when I kind of got my first little pony when I was probably 7, and then we started going to some rodeos, and you know, my mom, she just hauled us everywhere we could go by then, you know, all over. If whatever we wanted to do or needed, she got it, and away we went, you know, but, yeah.
So were you going to play days back then, or junior rodeos? What all events were you competing in?
Yeah.
At 7.
We did it all.
Did it all?
You name it. From the goat tying to the pole bending to the barrel race, we did it all at that age.
Oh, yeah. Did it all?
Yeah. That was when I was probably, like I said, 7. And then when we moved to Osage County, that's when I kind of started roping a little bit more. I was still living out there, but folks were putting together their place there in Osage County, and we good friend of my dad's at the time named Jim Lesser kind of got me roping and taught me how to swing a rope and go from then. But yeah,
you just started on breakaway calf roping.
Yeah, breakaway. Yep.
Plenty of ropers over there on that kind of western Osage County and the Ponca City area, wasn't there?
There's a lot of them, a lot of good ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But yeah.
Do you ever rope with Jerome Schneeberger over there ever?
Every now and again we did. Not a whole lot. You know, Jerome was, by the time I was going, Jerome was really a good one.
Yeah, he was on the road a lot.
Yeah. But, yeah, not a whole lot, but I see him every now and again, get to visit with him.
Boy, that guy had some fast hands, Jimbo.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
he did. I remember watching him on the finals a lot.
Yeah.
Probably still pretty fast, but
Probably.
back when he was in his prime.
Right.
You bet.
No one
Big
could touch
too.
him.
I mean, he was just big, athletic looking to me.
For sure.
That's what they used to say, he could beat you on a billy goat.
Yeah, he was, love watching him rope for sure.
You bet.
Love watching him rope. So at what age did you start tying down calves?
Oh, probably 10, you know, somewhere in that age. Started tying them down. We moved next door to Jim and Dottie Lessert there, and we just started roping every day. That's what we do. I'd go down to Jim and Dottie's and rope. He has an arena right there on his place, and we live right next to him. And I'd be there every day. We'd be roping and roping, tying, just every single day. Well, yeah. When I get home, I just wear a path out from school, going down there and coming back every night. That's just what we did. Just roped and roped and roped.
Did you do any team roping back then, or just mainly calf roping?
Mainly calf roping. Yep. Learning to rope, learning to control a rope, that kind of thing. Jim had a little pen behind his arena, and I roped in that pen for hours and days and forever until I finally got to go out to the arena and do it. But that's what we did. When I finally got out there, my dad bought me 25 head of Holsteins, and we'd run them through twice a night. Just break away, just learned how to catch. That's what we did. Rode 4 horses every night, and I'd be sitting there waiting on my mom or Jim to get home from work, and we'd be running them every day. You know.
Pretty important to learn how to catch them, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you got to do that first.
A lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
You know, Jimbo, I know you're a rodeo historian and all, but I got one that you might not know on Tyler. Rodeo history. You know, the cavalcade turned 75 years old this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Guess who was the 50th annual cavalcade? That's 25 years ago this year.
Wow.
50th annual cavalcade. Was it calf roping or junior calf roping? Which one was it?
It was in breakaway, yeah.
It's the breakaway, okay.
Yeah, I was probably 12.
25 years ago, you were 12?
Well, something like
Okay.
12 to 14, somewhere in there.
All right.
I wasn't that old. Yeah.
He won the 50th annual cavalcade.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think it was the only year they give a saddle away.
How special was that to win something like that?
Yeah, that's
Probably, especially since you probably came to it several times
right.
beforehand.
No, that was my first time in my last
Oh, really?
time. I never.
Your
that was
first
the
and last time.
That was it.
You came and won the biggest one they ever had till this year.
Yeah, and never went back. I don't know why.
He's got a track record about that, Jimbo. We'll get into that.
Yeah,
after a
we'll get
while.
into that.
We'll get into that after a while.
Yeah, never got to go back.
So you're roping calves. When do you decide you're good enough to maybe start entering some of these amateur rodeos and getting your IRA card? Thinking about getting it.
Probably when I went to college, that's when I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a lot of high school rodeos.
How did you fare in the high school rodeos?
I can't even remember. It's almost been that so long ago. I didn't win no title or nothing there, but I made it. I made it to the finals every year that they had. Can't even remember where those were at. Maybe Illinois, Springfield, Illinois now, I think, or then. And
It moves around every
does,
year. It's hard to
yeah.
keep up with. It moves every. I went when it was in Gillette, Wyoming. So
right. I think we went to Gallup, New Mexico once or twice, but yeah. After that, when I went to college, I met some guys there. That's what they did was went to them IRA rodeos and stuff like that, and that's when I got going to the IRA rodeos.
how'd you fare in college rodeos?
Well, there's probably a good story there. To get into OSU, I had to, they want a fairly good GPA, let's say. So my story, I was always roping and rodeoing. And so when I got in, I kind of had a little academic probation there that I needed to do. So I only got to rodeo the second season of that.
Okay.
That year. So the first season when I met some guys there, J.R. Magdeburg and Lane Jeffries, I wasn't able to college rodeo, so they were going to these IRA rodeos. I'm going with you guys. Can't do nothing here. So every weekend we'd load up and go to East Coast, and this was in 04. We'd go wherever there was one. We'd try to make 2 or 3 of them.
Was that the year that J.R. Magdeburg won the IRA World?
That was it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That was it. Me and JR would go and Lane, and we'd take off and, like I said, go every weekend. And Yeah.
You had to go. A lot of them back east, weren't they?
Yeah, there was a lot of them back east, but to get into Oklahoma State, like I said, you had to have that certain GPA. Well, I didn't quite meet that criteria, so I knew the rodeo coach real well, and I made the front page of the Daily Oklahoman, and when he got that. He said he went and slapped on the dean's desk and said, I want this kid right here. So that was the only way I made it into Oklahoma State.
What were you on the cover for?
Roping calves at the IFYR and Shawnee. What do they call it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. That was another big junior rodeo, high school type rodeo they used to have in Shawnee. They still may have it. It was a big one at the time, though, Jimbo.
Right.
Big time.
But, yeah, so got in by doing that, and we was going to all the IPRA rodeos, and I made 2 college rodeos, and I won both of them. And there was only like 6, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 the second semester, but I won 2 of those college rodeos, and that didn't quite let me into the college national finals, but made it 2 of them. But so we kept rodeoing and going to the IRA rodeos. And
was that your rookie year in the IRA?
yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, that was my rookie year.
What a year.
Yeah, it was a pretty good year.
The guy you're traveling with, he's winning the world in the IRA.
Right.
You, tops of the rookies.
Yeah, that was a real good year for both of us.
Come down to the last rodeo.
Oh, it did.
Tell us about that.
Oh, it happened to me for steer open too. Me and Ken Bailey came down. Me and Ken Bailey
To make the finals. The great Ken Bailey from down in Okmulgee.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, and that's not.
He just made the finals again this last year for I don't even know how many teams time.
That wasn't somebody you wanted to go down to the wire with back then, for sure.
Or anytime.
Obviously.
Yeah, anytime. I wouldn't want to rope against Ken Bailey today. He's just as deadly as he was back then.
Oh man. Yeah, we drove clear out to somewhere in Georgia. I can't remember where it was, but somewhere in Georgia. And I think it was a little bitty old rodeo, and I think there was probably 8 calf ropers in it, maybe. And he took one rig and I took another rig. We drove all the way, both of us from Oklahoma, and we drove out there. And I think I tied one in 9 or something, and he was 10, and all I had to do was win some money. And that let me go ahead. I beat him there, and that let me go ahead and make the finals in front of him. Yeah, that was a pretty lucky deal.
Oklahoma City, was that the finals?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I think they're in Guthrie now at the Lazy E, which is, I think they're doing a great job with it over there, it looks like.
Yeah.
Ken Bailey, speaking of him, I hate to get off of you, Tyler, for a minute, but Ken Bailey, he cracks me up. He's roping steers now, Jimbo.
Really?
He's roping steers very, very competitively, and it's looking like if he takes it serious and wants to haul, Ken Bailey might be a real threat to make the national finals real soon. So
yeah, that doesn't surprise me. He can rope, doesn't matter.
He's really been coming. He's always dabbled in the steer roping, but he's really been taking it serious here of late. And
right.
So that was 04. What got you interested in steer roping?
Oh, steer rope. I think JR was going to get into it, and I shoot, and I will too. Let's rope steers, I guess.
Who helped you with that? I mean, that's kind of something that's a little different, and you kind of sometimes need a little help with your horses and different things.
Right. So, originally, I can go back to my high school days when I was kind of roping calves quite a bit. I went and stayed with Doug Clark. I always go stay with him for, a couple of summers there, 2 or 3 summers. And one day, he was the first guy that ever showed me how to trip steers, or I guess it didn't really show me, but at one point, I'll tell you this story. They're out there tying, him and Tommy Blessing are out there tying, and I jumped in there, said, "Here, get this string, start tying." Shoot, away we go, with them two. before I know it, he's got me tied on solid, and we're knocking him down. I think he let me trip 1 or 2 on a good old horse he had, and that weekend I was entered somewhere. He was going to a jackpot, so I went with him. That was my first steer roping. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but we entered. We entered and win. But, I got probably in 05, somewhere in there, early 05, late 04 probably, after the finals, the IRA finals. I got in with Rod Hartness from here. He had some horses there. Started tripping some with him and roping quite a bit with him and going, and got my permit that year, and in 05. And we started tripping steers and going.
So you went pretty hard then in 06, I guess.
Where'd you fill your permit at?
I think I filled it at Ponca City.
Hometown rodeo.
I think I did. If
Wow.
I remember. Yeah, I think I did.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that was I got to rope. I roped calves there too, as well. But
Is that when Ponca City was late summer?
yes,
In August, I
Yes.
think.
I think
It used to be
it
one of the
was.
last rodeos of the year.
Yeah,
And,
it might not have been Ponca City then if it was that back then in August.
I don't know exactly
Yeah.
when it used to be, but it used to be a little later than it is
It
now,
used to be the
for
same
sure.
time as Coffeyville and
Yeah,
some of the other stuff.
getting
Yeah.
wearing down towards the end of the year.
Right. Yeah, so it might not have been Ponca, but because I won a lot of money on my permit that year.
Did you?
Yeah, I was riding a horse named Sleepy, and Sleepy he knew the deal. He was a little bitty old horse, but had a lot of guys that rode him all over.
That's back when there used to be a lot of these old horses around. It
Yeah.
just it don't seem like there's too many of the old campaigners around that people,
Right.
trade back and forth and learn on anymore. There's not near as many of them as there used to be. Don't seem like, Jimbo.
Sleepy's a good name for a steer horse. You kind of wanted them to be a little sleepy,
I didn't mind being on the muscle a little bit in a rodeo sometimes, Jimbo.
Well,
Yeah.
they would wake up at the rodeo, but
Yeah, mine definitely would, because
Yeah.
I went stupid just right with them.
Right,
at the
right.
rodeo when
Yeah.
about time I nodded my head.
they were feeding off you, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't them, it was me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, Sleepy, he could run that whole lot, but he could go left and give you a shot real quick.
Those are the easiest ones to rope on, ones that don't run quite enough. So you just got to reach just a little bit more than you're used to. Usually that makes you do things more correct for some reason, and they're easier to rope on
Yeah.
at the end of the day than a horse that's really free and chargy.
Nobody can rope good when they're pulling that broad reins up in their face.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I know that. I didn't need any more challenges than I had.
Right.
So you fill your permit in 05.
Yeah.
You roped with Doug Clark and Tommy Blessing. Jimbo, I didn't know if you knew who Tommy Blessing was. That's Jared Blessing's dad.
Right.
And he's a pretty good horse hand, too. He used to ride a lot of Trevor Brazil's steer roping horses back around that time when.
And Doug used to rope here in the club. I knew Doug when he roped here in the club in late 80s, something like that.
Doug's helped a lot of guys, too.
Yep.
You bet.
There's a lot of guys that appreciate Doug. And right now he's working with Billy Good. It's part of the Good family. He comes from steer roping family, but I think, his roping's really getting tough.
Yeah, you bet.
Being
It's a
down there
son-in-law.
with, it's his son-in-law.
Yeah.
Being down there with Doug, it looks like. Doug must be a really, really good teacher.
Must be.
Yeah, he sure learned a lot. It sure helped my career with horses and roping and everything, how to handle a horse and make everything right. It sure changed a lot for me. That's what it did. Learned a lot from that guy. I still do today. He rode some horses for me. A steer horse I just got back. He had him for several months and still good friends. Whole family is. Yeah. He's ornery one, but good people.
You like roping steers better or calves better?
I think I always liked roping calves better.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe because I did it so long, but I still love tripping steer. I wish, but I can always trip steers. It's hard to go back competitively and rope calves. Nowadays anyway.
You look like you're in good enough shape
Yeah.
to beat around on some of these guys.
Yeah.
Somebody told me you got your calves and your steers mixed up down in Texas. You tied one in 9.7 a steer.
Yeah. I've done that.
That's pretty quick.
He was real bad about that for a while,
Really?
Jimbo,
Yeah.
about doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about in 06 when you bought your card after you filled your permit?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that the right year?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it in 06, and yeah,
Tell us about that rookie year.
I don't even know where to start sometimes.
Yeah. Odessa. Started Odessa.
Yeah, Odessa. I can't even remember if I won any money there.
Yeah.
Actually, but I feel like I did. I feel like I won a little bit of money there, and that kind of gave me a charge, to go a little more and win a little bit. And I went to every steer open they had. There was no stopping me from that.
Was that your goal to set out?
That was my goal. Yeah, to make the finals. I always wanted to make the finals, and didn't care what event. And I just, being a little kid on, that's all I wanted to do is make the finals. You watch it on TV, you want to make the finals. So, I knew I probably had a shot in the steer open at doing it, and that year, and so yeah, we gave it everything we could, and went to everywhere. If I needed to get in with somebody, I got in with them and went. But
Who all did you rodeo with that year?
rodeo with Rod. Everybody. J. Paul, J.R., Magdeburg, you name it, Jim Folk, just a bunch of people. Ralph Williams, got in with him, some, or he'd get in with us.
He's the coolest, isn't he?
That guy he's the coolest guy in the PRCA. Always has been.
One of the coolest guys in the world, I think, Ralph Williams.
Yep.
Never seen him get worked up, Jimbo.
No, I haven't either.
I got to take that back. I worked him up one time on our way to a rodeo
Well,
home somewhere.
I'm sure you could.
I had him good and worked up. The only time I ever saw Ralph worked up, I had him worked up. And I don't want to ever see him worked up again, for sure.
Yeah, that's what we
For
always said.
sure.
That's the coolest guy in the PRCA right there.
He is.
Ralph-
He is.
Ralph
He's one of the best. He's John Israel's nephew,
Oh, is he?
Uh-huh.
No, I didn't know that.
First cousins with the governor. Ralphie.
That doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me.
Shoot, yeah.
Ralph.
One time me and Ralphie, we were on the road for, I don't know, I think we were on the road for like 40 days straight rodeoing. And I was ready to get home. We were on the way home, and I dropped Ralphie off. This is how much Ralphie loves to rodeo, Jimbo. I dropped him off at Wichita at the Turnpike, and he got in with Sally and went and watched a rodeo that night before we went home. We were gone for 40 straight days to go into rodeos together.
Ralph's be the only, two of the guys I know that can make 4 rodeos on a weekend, maybe 6.
Oh yeah, and in opposite parts of the United States too.
Yeah, he can make them. I don't know how. Yeah, it's him.
We're gonna ease on over here to Mississippi.
He's still going pretty hard, isn't he?
Hard as he can.
I mean, what is he, 60 years old or something?
He's right at it. He's right at it.
He got me.
Well, you got to work when you're around the house. You
Yeah.
got to stay on rodeoing.
That's right.
You got to stay on rodeoing. So you said it came down to the last rodeo in 06.
It did.
Just like it came down to the last rodeo in 04.
Yeah, it did.
At the calf roping.
I think it was in Coleman, Texas, the steer open. And I had to place. There were several of us at the bottom there. I know it was, I think J. Paul was one. Rod might have been one. There's a couple other guys, right there, 14, 15 in that area. But, yeah, I needed to place there, or I had to place at that rope. I think win third, and just win some money is what I needed to do. Third or better in a go-around. But I had a steer horse that year named Sniper. And Sniper, he was a real good steer horse, and a lot of run and just a lot of motor in him, and perfect drag. And came down the wire. We were at, like I said, Coleman, Oklahoma. Missed my first one, so I got Vin's doing math for me, trying to figure out what we need to do. To figure out we need to win something or win third in that go around at least. To make the finals. So, pressure's on. They got to make it. It was a 2-header, and there's slack that morning. We roped 2 that morning, and like I said, me and Jay Paul were coming from. I think Amarillo was that time. I think that was one of the last rodeos, and we were coming from there to Coleman, rode together over there. We're both, trying to make the finals there, and so I missed mine. I think I don't think he might have missed his first one, and he's at the top of the list coming back in the second round, and he comes out and he ties one in 9.2 or something like that, something crazy for down there. Oh boy, a good old buddy, traveling partner, ties one 9.2, made the finals 9 times, 10 times,
5 times, but we're not counting.
Yeah, couldn't let me in, but so comes my turn coming up, and I get back in there, and I had a decent old steer, but we couldn't get him up. He's laying down the chute, wouldn't get up. And it's one thing I will say about Jay Paul, one of my best friends right there, a lot of it over this deal. He was one of the only guys that was there helping, trying to get that steer up, just doing all he could to make sure that steer was right. We couldn't get him up, and we had to, pull the barrier, draw away, go the back end, run another steer. It's another 30, 45 minutes later, and he just kind of tell me, don't worry about it, make a good run, just do what you can do, and draw away, come back, had a hard running steer, and ran him to the back end, threw just a sloppy wrap and a hooey on him, and 11.5 or something like that, and then I just had to sweat that night for them guys that was up in the perf, and I was calling. Of course, Guy Allen was up that night. Probably Snedeker, some of them top guys, and I'm thinking, just sweating. We come back here and go to a little jackpot, and I'm calling Guy as soon as they're done. See how they did. What'd you do? And end up winning. I think second that go around. Jay Paul won first, and that let me go and make the finals right there in the 14th spot. I think Marty Jones is 15 after that or something. But
oh wow,
yeah, that was a tough one right there. But yeah, Jay Paul, he helped me. He was just there for me the whole time. Yeah,
that's the way most rodeo guys are.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You mentioned the Fishers a while ago.
Yeah.
How great of people are those?
Oh, good. Yeah, good people. Dan and Vin. That's who I rodeo a lot with as well back then. I forgot to mention them earlier, but them 3, yeah, can't beat them.
They're about as good as they come, and they're about as good at ropers as there is in the whole world, really.
Right.
You bet.
So what was it like at the finals? I think, was that at Hobbs?
It was at Hobbs. Yeah, it was at Hobbs. I was about as nervous as I am right now on this podcast is what I was then. But, didn't win a whole lot of money there. But
what do you remember from the experience of making the National Finals rodeo?
Oh, they just want to go back.
Yeah.
They want to do it again. Yeah, just that whole feeling that you kind of did what you wanted to do, you made it, and that it's just a good feeling, You made the NFR.
What kind of facility is that out there? Is that an indoor deal?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's an indoor. It's a nice little place. It's kind of like the Mulvane.
Oh yeah.
Type setting, kind of.
It was a pretty small setting.
Yeah,
Jimbo. It was probably one of the smallest NFR for the steer roping they've ever had it in, but they did a really good job with the presentation, everything they did to put that rodeo on. My hat's off to Hobbs, New Mexico. They did a good job while they had it out there.
They did. Real good job.
They made it really feel like I think they had like a golf tournament for the cowboys, and they had a special tent for their horses out back. I mean, it was really they made them feel real special out there because we had the cattle out there at the same time. That's the only reason I know anything about the Hobbs. We were out there providing the roping steers for you guys to rope out there.
Yep.
So,
yep. Oh, Rocky.
Hobbs, New Mexico.
Yeah.
That steer open finals has moved around quite a bit. Did you know it was in Pawhuska 4 times?
Well, looking around out here, I caught on to that. I didn't know how many times it was here, but yeah, seeing some of them old guys.
63, 64, and 71 and 72.
Was that when
It's kind of strange it was that far apart,
Yeah.
two separate decades like that.
Yeah.
But
right?
well, Jimbo, you know what, Tyler? What are you up to now?
Oh,
You got any more plans cracking back out?
Man.
You just slipped it out. You had a horse.
Man,
just got him
I know.
home from Doug.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I might go to some ropings I have here, club ropings I have here.
Yeah, they're right here and handy.
They're right here handy. My horse is still kind of young, so we're still kind of ease him along for a year or so and see. I'm going to enter my roping in Ponca City on the rodeo committee over there, and we have steer roping there. So I'm gonna enter that in June, and hopefully I tie a few down there. 3, hopefully. That's the goal.
Oh, it's a 3-header?
It's 3-header. Yeah.
Holy moly, I was on Ponca City for years to make it a 3-header.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see y'all finally did it.
You bet. It's a 3-header.
Makes it so much funner of a roping sometimes. If you're there, you may as well run another steer.
Right? That's what I was thinking.
Well, Jimbo, you got anything else for Tyler?
Well, just want to thank him for making the drive over here and putting up
Yeah.
with us tonight. But, just another great roper from this area, and to hear him tell some of those stories. And I'd like to see him hopefully get serious again, and I'd like to see him rope up at Mulvane again.
We're notorious for ropers showing up for a couple of years and taking all the money, and then they kind of go back to their regular life.
That's
we got a lot of guys from around here. They make Mark Freeman. He made the national finals, and he went the year after, but he had already made the national finals, and then he decided he didn't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stepped away from it. We got a guy named Ace Bowman from here.
Mm-hmm.
He stepped up. He won the Rookie of the Year. Almost made the national finals, 16th in the world that year. And, he really never kept roping steers after that. We get a lot of really tough guys. They jump in the business for a year or two. They take everybody's money. Mm-hmm. Everybody remembers them.
Yeah.
And then
Then you got guys like Ralphie that's 60 years old and still going hard. So I don't know. It takes all
Still
kinds,
take
I
your
guess.
money.
Yep.
I've always kind of felt like Tyler was one of these guys from around here that, one of the toughest guys going down the road. Just didn't care much about the travel aspect of it. I don't know what it was. That's just me assuming from the outside. I don't know.
Yeah, traveling is tough. I tell you. I tell you. They say I don't drive very good.
But he put his heart and soul in it to ever get that to that level,
You bet.
and so he's got the drive. And like I say, if it works out, I'd like to see him make another run to finals.
I would too. I'd like to go cheer him on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, we in this deal. We ask a guy a question every time.
All right.
It looks like to me, you deal with pressure good. Really good.
Possible.
Because it came down to the last rodeo, the last run of the year, 2 different times to make, the national finals twice. Once roping calves, once roping steers. So it's not even has to be directed to the young folks out there. I always say directed to the young folks out there, but it can be directed to anybody. Handling pressure. It's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you back in there knowing what you got to do and accomplish it? How can you put that into words for us, Tyler?
Boy, I don't know, but practice those situations. Be prepared for it. But a lot of times that can go out the window real quick when you think you're prepared. But just know what you can do and go make the best run you can make. That's all you can do. Make the best of it and don't worry about anything. 'Cause that worrying is what's going to mess you up a lot. So back in there and give it your best every time. You might win something.
The more you practice, the better you get.
That's right.
The luckier you get.
Yeah, the luckier you get. I think that's how it goes. But
You got anything else, any other advice you want to give a guy? Don't even have to be about pressure. The young ones growing up. Anything?
I probably don't know any more advice.
Okay.
Practice. That's all you can do. That's it.
You got it, man.
Repetition. It beats everybody.
Well, one of the best in the world right here. We're lucky to have him again, just like you said, Jimbo.
Yep.
Tyler, thank you.
Yeah.
Jimbo, as always, thank you.
you got it. Thank you, Tyler.
Yep. Thanks for having
And
me.
thank everybody listening. We'll see everybody next weweek right here on Cowboys of the Osage. It's going to be a good one. See y'all next week.
All right.